Okay. Oh, shit.
Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life. The Partial Breakaway Podcast.
I'm leaving the song on until you stop laughing.
Oh my gosh.
Junior and
Episode.
producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your
Let's try this
fantasy
again.
leagues and win at life.
Episode 167 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I am co-host Junior, accompanied
Junior, what's going on, Junior?
you
I'm not
guys.
restarting this, by the way. Eh? We're not editing
my
this. This is
gosh.
staying on.
I'm co-host Junior, as usual, accompanied by co-host Nick and producer Vince. Nick, you had a little blurb you wanted to start with. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Vince is the GOAT.
Yeah. As long as you finally admitted it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
This is what
Wasn't
happens
expecting that.
This is what happens when we prep beforehand.
Yeah.
Off
Too
the
much
rails.
time before...
Yeah.
Well, for those of you listening and not understanding exactly why we're losing our minds over here, it is 10:30 at night on a Sunday, and Vince had a 20-minute power nap
Yeah.
during our pre-game rehearsal, and then came in with guns blazing with his dad jokes, and I think we all died of laughter here.
Something like that.
Something like that. We'll leave it at that for now.
If
Guys,
you found... Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, like, there's only really one hockey game that's still going. One series that's still going. Everybody else is just waiting.
Looks like if it's not for the Habs, we're not going to get Game 7s. So you got to keep them in, no?
They're trying to do like when they won the cup in, was it 93 that they went in OT in almost every game?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we really look at this, the team, it seems like they don't really know how to close out a series, because this is twice now that they've had the upper hand and on a home game have had very low amount of shots, very low, I guess, not finishing the job. Let's just call it that way. And then Game 7 comes and you have to flip a coin. You never know what's going to happen.
They're saying, a lot of people are saying it could be that they're intimidating themselves by the Habs pregame show, or like there's something, because it's 2 Game 6s now that they could have closed out at home, and
against
they
Tampa,
stuck to bed.
Against
No,
Tampa,
well
they
against
showed
Tampa,
up.
yeah.
They showed up.
yes,
They just couldn't
yes,
score.
true.
Vasilevsky
Yeah.
was huge in that game.
Yeah, Vasilevsky stole that game.
But then Game 7 was abysmal. They won not with 9 shots on net, right? Or was it 10?
Yeah, that's the game where
9
that's
shots
where
on net.
everybody, yeah,
They
where
won with 9
everybody,
shots on net.
everybody was saying that they should have won Game 6 but lost Game 7.
That's
Okay,
right.
well, we're going to get to that series in the Odd Man Rush. Along with the other series, we're going to touch on the Vegas fiasco and what Torts did. We're going to touch on the absolute dysfunction that the Edmonton Oilers are. Berube Firing. And then we're going to touch on an update of the Battle Royale playoff pool. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if we keep you entertained, if you want to keep being entertained, you can also follow us on our socials, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube. Like, subscribe at Partial Break Pod. Don't forget to download our episodes and follow us on all audio podcast platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. What's it called? Apple Podcast, amongst many others, of course. Without further ado, guys, we get it started or what?
On Odd Man Rush.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am the host of Odd Man Rush this week. This is where we take news and notes and trends in the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes, but usually last about 3 minutes. But the good 3 minutes, like not the bad 30 seconds that Nick does, the good 3 minutes. This segment is sponsored by from Sportira. Visit the website www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Follow
That's
them on
30 seconds for
Instagram.
life.
Follow them on Instagram as well as at sportira.apparel. All right,
I hear
boys.
the goats can do a lot in 30 seconds. By the way.
Yeah, well, that's why they're the GOATs, Junior. Hello. Greatest of all time. All right, so the biggest news that came out of Toronto this week, something that we saw coming and then we didn't see coming, but then finally happened. Craig Berube getting fired. So, Nick, we'll start with you. Was this was this a plan all along? Was this them talking to players and then deciding that Berube needed to go? What's your thinking around this whole firing?
Well, I mean, you have a new general manager that's coming in, and instead of wasting time with the old coach until you have a feel for the team and then maybe make a decision on where you want to go, he wants to go where he wants to go right away. So for me, that's not a bad thing at all. I think most Leaf fans feel like this is the right move that could have happened. So Cheka wins in this particular decision. Not that Berube's a bad coach or he's a bad person, just that it wasn't a fit for Toronto, and I think that's true. Now, especially in the direction that they want to go. Unfortunately, the bad news is that now Jared Stidham is not going to be there either, because news today came out that he's going to leave, and he was their capologist that got him through the whole COVID years and some of the rough times. He supposedly is a genius. Now, the writing was on the wall. He had 2 GM interviews with the Leafs, and both times he didn't get the job. So it was his turn to kind of leave. But Berube and him leaving, Berube is the right decision. Unfortunate for Stidham. He was a good guy in Toronto. Win and
Junior?
loss.
Yeah, I mean, when they first fired Tree Living, I kind of just figured Berube wouldn't be back. But yeah, I mean, they had to. New GM, he's going to bring his own coach. I'm just curious to know what this means. Does this mean rebuild, or does this just mean yet another new face behind the bench and still try to win now? I wonder if this gives anything away or we're just overthinking it.
Well, nothing came out of the Matthews camp yet, which apparently they were supposed to meet with, but there was a rumor going around, and it's you know how the rumors of Toronto doing something at the draft are coming and going, but this one's kind of sticking around. And it was that Matthew Nyes goes to Chicago for the 4th overall pick. Does this, I'll start with you, Junior, does that match up with Toronto's plans? Does that help them? Does that mean they're going to go through a full rebuild? What do you think?
I don't know. I found it strange that they would trade their youngest asset, their best youngest asset, if you will, rather than trading a guy like Matthews or Nylander. But then the more you read about it, the more it's out that they feel they can actually get more for Matthew Nyes than they could for those guys, which I kind of find astonishing, to tell you the truth. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I don't think that's the right move, though. if you're
If you're not
if you're
rebuilding.
Toronto, unless you're blowing it up to the bones, like you're stripping it all down and you're starting over. But if you're just like trying to retool, I'm not sure trading Nyes for a 4th overall pick is the answer. Even though they would probably get that puck moving defenseman they desperately need.
Well, they're saying it was a 4th and maybe one of their young defense that they already had, like a Vlasic or one of the younger
Shinsky?
guys. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting. Nick, what do you think about this?
Well, it's going to have to be more than just 4th overall for me.
No, it was
It would be fourth overall plus another asset. If you
yeah,
do something like
the
that,
asset
because
apparently the asset that they're saying is apparently maybe another defenseman, not Levshunov, but like one of the other defensemen
listen, if it's
that they have.
Rinzel and the fourth overall, okay, I started to understand that a little bit more, especially if that fourth overall ends up being somebody like Stenberg or Malhotra or Bjork, right? Carroll's. Like you
Yeah.
could revamp your entire defense with Rinzel and Carroll's, for example. Um, so that kind of makes a little bit more sense for me. But trading Nice for fourth overall is like trading $1 for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
You're not changing anything. You're just doing the same thing over and over again. People covet a guy like Nyes. People want a guy like Nyes, and they're very hard to find. So, yeah, I don't think that a 1-for-1 makes any sense. But if it's a two-piece like that, maybe it's something that could be explored,
Yeah.
depending who's available at fourth too.
Exactly, and they're saying that Nice is the guy to go, the guy for them that they can get the most return because he's the only one that has a no move clause, whereas Nylander and Matthews both have a no move clause, which means they decide where they go. So like basically
Oh, you're saying
Panarin.
he has no move clause.
No, yeah, exactly. Nice has no move clause. So all right. So next from we'll say one dysfunctional team to another dysfunction team. The Edmonton Oilers. They asked permission to interview Cassidy while Knobloch was still coach. Vegas playing possum and not allowing permission yet. The Oilers fired Knobloch after the Cassidy news was leaked. I mean, Junior, this is a complete shit show, isn't it?
It's terrible. It's terrible. And they just find new ways of looking stupid, the Edmonton Oilers do. I mean, at some point, it's almost like they're doing it on purpose to piss off McDavid or something. I don't know, but like, what are you doing? How did you not think, first of all, that was going to get out? And it's not like you're asking a team in the East, I don't know, like Columbus for permission for. You're asking a direct competitor for permission. No kidding, it's going to get leaked. Like, are you dumb? And then how do you not advise Knobloch before you seek? Like, to me, this just shows that if they could get Cassidy, then they're going to fire Knobloch. And they did now, like, and now they have no choice to fire Knobloch, even though they couldn't hire Cassidy just yet because it's out there. And he didn't even start his 3-year extension, Knobloch. So, like, I don't know. These guys, in the end, I think Cassidy ends up in Edmonton because Vegas will bend and they will give permission because, let's face it, they're going to save $4.5 million because that's what they're paying him right now, not the coach. And if he signs with another team, they either pay
It's not the only team.
You don't think
for a coach.
You don't think Toronto is interested in Cassidy?
Friedman reported.
Toronto, yeah, it's not.
Friedman reported that it's likely not Cassidy, but Cassidy's preference is the Oilers. That's what Friedman reported.
So, Nick, what do you think about this whole fiasco in Edmonton?
I think Edmonton continues making decisions that baffle. Not because Cassidy's a bad coach, but because they seem like they're rudderless. They don't understand the market. They don't understand where to go. They have no plan. They keep changing their plan.
That's well said.
And this kind of reminds me of the Bergevin days in Montreal. Like every year it's a new plan.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about it in the chat with our Edmonton Oilers fan, listener Tasso, and I was telling him, I'm like, how bad does it look now that Broberg got signed to that deal that Edmonton could have matched, and Holloway got signed to that deal that Edmonton could have matched, and instead you had to bring in these rookies and hope one of them kind of pans out, and one of them was sent back to the AHL, and then Brown gets shipped off, and like everything, it's just a mess. It's just disorganized. It's not well thought out. You spend time to develop players, and then you don't even sign them when they sign an offer sheet. Like, you could have matched and gotten rid of another piece that was not important. You know what I mean? And hey, by the way, Brett Kulak just scored the game winner for the Vegas Golden Knights. So
Colorado, no?
wherever he is now, I don't even know where he is.
It's Colorado. Yeah, but
Colorado. Sorry.
Remember when they hired Stan Bowman? We were all like, not sure about this hire. Well, It's making us look smart because he's not doing. I
But it
mean,
comes from
he's
the top. It comes from the top. You have dinosaurs running this organization, and they're like the boys' club. It's always been a boys' club in
yeah,
Edmonton.
but like, they went from Sorelli to the guy from Detroit. What's Holland
Yeah, the
to
old
now
boys' club.
Bowman. Is I mean, if you want to, if you really want to bring a team to the ground, I mean, this is the way to do it. I don't know how much longer Drysdale and McDavid have to have and will put up with stuff like this. So it'll be an interesting story to follow.
But you look at their roster, like it's poorly assembled. It's very poorly assembled. Like if it's not Leon and McDavid, like what do you have? Hyman's 33. How many? Like they're still relying on him to score 50 goals? No, you can't. You can't rely on that. Nugent Hopkins is 33. Like they're relying on Adam Enrique to be a number 3 center at 36 years old. Like they've got nothing.
How nice would
They've,
it look if you would have moved Kasperi Kapanen from that top line and put Dylan Holloway there?
Well,
Or
yeah.
how nice would it have been if you have Ekholm, Bouchard, and instead of Connor,
Broberg,
Mercy, and Earth, you have Broberg somewhere there to move the puck a bit because these other guys can't.
Well, look, Nurse 31, Ekholm 35, Wallman 30, Murphy 33. The game's getting faster. They're getting older
and you haven't even spoken about their goalies.
with no mobility. And they're still
Oh.
paying Jack Campbell, by the way, on their cap for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but I didn't want to mention the goalies because it's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah, it's terrible. All right, so from Edmonton to Torella getting fined $100,000, and the Golden Knights forfeit a second-round pick for refusing proper media access. Junior, what can you tell us about this story and what's going on?
Well, basically, I think they just sent out Marner and Howden, and they were pretty much advised you got 10 minutes and then you got to come to the bus or we're leaving without you. So they didn't give any players to the media basically, and there's a standard to follow. It's part of the contract, their contracts when they sign it, whether you're a coach or a player, and they basically did not give full access to the media.
It's collectively bargained.
Yeah, it's collectively bargained, and this is the punishment. However, there's a good chance upon appeal that Vegas will be given their second round pick, and it might be less of a penalty than a second round pick. To me, this screams I'm upset about the suspension to McNabb, and now this is my way of getting back to you. But
He
who
deserved
really
it,
knows? The thing with Torts is that he could be so cool, and then he pulls up with stunts like this, and it's like,
It reminds you why you shouldn't be coaching in the NHL.
yeah. And those reporters from Vegas that be like, he's been great since he's been here. He's been absolutely great with the
He's always
media
like
and
that at the
everything.
beginning.
And then something like this out of nowhere, you know.
But Torch is always like this at the beginning. He's always great at the beginning, new job, big smile on his face, and then he just starts laying into you, and he gets annoyed.
But what do you think? Do you think it was like, and not to mention it was after a series clinching victory? So
Yeah.
like, what do you guys think that was all about? Was it
And
about?
they have like a 6-day rest before the next game.
But do you think
don't
it
know.
was really about the McNabb suspension?
Yeah,
Or-
it makes no other sense. It has to be the McNabb thing. You know,
I-
Torts got pissed that he got suspended for an extra game, which, quite frankly, once again, he deserved it. There was no reason to hit Paling there. There was absolutely no reason to hit him. And you came in flying. You jumped before you even hit him.
It probably
Like, it's not
came
like-
from above too, though. It probably came from above. I mean, look, they're being petty and not giving permission to
petty.
Cassidy. Maybe they were being petty for this too, and they told Torts don't send anyone.
But if I'm the NHL, I don't back down from this. If I'm the NHL, I keep that second round pick. Screw them. If it's something that's in the it's in the agreement in the contract, collective bargaining, I don't back down from this time. I like teams can't do what they want. There's already stuff in there that both some players don't like. There's stuff in there that owners don't like. NHL has to stand its ground. They can't put up with this because it makes them if they give in on this and they appeal and take a fourth round pick,
They look petty.
yeah, exactly. They
Not serious.
no, they need to stand their ground and say, listen, it was there. We didn't make up this rule. The rule was there. You decide to strike because of a decision you didn't like. Well, this is what you pay.
It's still a little bit harsh though. A second
Yeah, it's
rounder
really harsh.
Yeah, but
when
that's
the
fine. But
when the
you
Kyle Beach sexual assault case got them nothing.
That's
but
why
you
when they appeal, if they bring all this stuff up,
You-
it's going to be
I
rescinded to like a
I
fourth.
I understand, but at the end of the day, if you want teams, owners, players to respect that bargaining agreement, you need to stick with your stuff. So make them appeal, but you gotta stick to it and see what happens. So
What
we'll
I
see.
found shocking was they actually have a second round pick this year and next year. I was like, who knows when this second round pick's going to be? But they actually have it this year and next.
All right, so to the next topic that we started the podcast with the Montreal Canadiens had a huge opportunity to put the Buffalo Sabres away, but came out of that game with, I mean, we can honestly say the worst performance of these playoffs so far. Slav had a really, really tough game. Dobish had a tough game. So Nick, Game 7, do you think the Habs can recover from this loss?
Well, Game 7's a coin flip, so anything could happen in Game 7. Any bounce could go any way, and that's the end of that. So yeah, can they rebound? Sure, but to me, they've looked a little bit tired. They've looked a little bit, let's not forget they're the youngest team in the league that's still in this playoffs, and closing out games, they have to learn how to close out games, close out series, I should say. Sorry. So for me, it's a learning experience. It's a great experience. We're already playing with house money, but the pressure is created by the players themselves, and they know how important these games are. And I think that's what's a little bit maybe overwhelming for them, because the coach Marty St. Louis says, just go out there, play your game. I'm not here to add any pressure. I'm not here to add any. I don't need to tell them how important this game is. They already know. They're players. They're not stupid. They know how important these games are. So maybe it is a learning curve for a lot of these young guys. Demidov looked amazing. Slav had his worst game I think that we've ever seen in these playoffs so far. Giving up the puck often. There was a few missed calls on both sides. I won't beleaguer the point and talk about refs. And Dobish kind of looked a little bit human. He's been playing above expected. Now he looks a little bit human. He looked a little bit rattled. We'll see.
Junior, anything to add?
Like immediately after the game, I was like, okay, they're done. They're done. Game 7, they're going to lose, and it's over. And that was just the raw emotions of losing such an embarrassing game. But so far this series, like this playoff season, every time they lose, they come back and they win a game. They're a better road team than they are a home team. And like Nick said, the Game 7 is a coin flip. So we'll see how it goes. But I personally feel that there's an opportunity here for the Montreal Canadiens to learn even more and to gain even more experience. Because if you told me this was happening versus a Tampa, fine, they're young, they learned a lot. You know what happens versus a Florida, even if it happened against a Carolina Hurricanes team. This is happening against a team that's equally unexperienced, the Buffalo Sabres. At the beginning of the year, you tell me Montreal and Buffalo are facing each other in the second round of the playoffs. I'm telling you Montreal has a fantastic chance of going through. So at the end of the day, I can't help but feel if they don't advance, it's still disappointing. Because they're nowhere further in their development than you are. I get it, you're younger, but experience-wise, it's the same thing. They're not that experienced, and they have terrible goaltending. So I'm not counting them out in Game 7 because, like I said, they always show up, even though Game 7 versus Tampa was rough. But I feel like now we'll see if they learn from that. I just want to see them compete. If they lose a game and they get eliminated, but they competed and they were there till the end, fine. If they get embarrassed again, then yeah, I'll be definitely disappointed. But come on, man, there's an opportunity to do something great here, to even go to the next round, and that's not impossible.
The first line needs to be their best line in Game 7, or else they won't have a chance. the Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky has to be their best line in Game 7. So it'll be interesting, and Dobish has to outplay whatever goalie's going in. That's for Buffalo.
Well, it's got to be Lukanen, no?
Well, yeah, I think so. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think he's gonna put Lyon back in, but you never know with Lindy Ruff. So, staying in the East, the Carolina Hurricanes will have had 12 days off since they last played. It's basically the Olympic break that they had again. Um, there'll be some rust for sure, Nick, but because this game is going to Game 7 now, do you think that'll matter in Game 1?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is you guys talk about rust, and I completely agree. You will definitely have some rust to get off of you at the beginning. But if you're telling me who's going to win four between a fully rested team or a totally beaten down Montreal Canadiens team that looks exhausted, I think that Carolina is going to win four before the Habs win four next round. And even Buffalo, I would even say. Buffalo does not look strong enough to beat a well-rested Carolina team. And I know you're going to say, "Oh, but it's been such a long break that it's not good for them to have this long of a break." Give me a break. They're still well rested, healthy, ready to go, chomping at the bit. Like this team's gonna ramboozle any team that they go up to against next round.
Junior?
I think they have to. Carolina will have to survive the first two games, especially the first one. Because when you don't play an actual NHL game for 12 weeks, meanwhile, the team you're facing has been in like Game 7 every single time, every single game in between that time. You're going to be rusty. Yeah, you might have energy in the first period. You might going to come out flying, but then the game shape, as much as you practice and as much as you've had a full season, 12 days rest is a lot. Now, if they could survive the first and second game and even come out 1-1, Carolina's going to be in a good position. And I think where the 12 days helps them is if they make the final. If they make the final, these 12 days were huge because time to heal the small injuries, time to rest and refocus and all that stuff. I think for that, you see the advantage more in the next round than you do in this round if they get there. So, yeah, I think they have to come out of the first two games 1-1. That's going to be their goal. That should be their goal. At least 1-1.
All right, let's talk about Mr. Playoff, Mitch Marner. He propels the Golden Knights to the Western Conference Finals, where they will play the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, the Avalanche punched their ticket to the Western Conference Semifinals, but they're going in there heavily injured, including their star, Cale Makar, who is far from 100% right now. So, Joey, what can you tell me about Mitch Marner's performance? I I even forgot who they played.
Anaheim Ducks.
Against the Anaheim Ducks, and can Colorado give them a run for the money for the Western Conference Finals with all the injuries that are piling up for them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, Minnesota's no slouch, and they managed to get through Minnesota even with Makar on one shoulder. So, of course, Colorado's probably still the team to beat, but Mitch Marner's leading the league in playoff points this year. Whatever script was out there, whatever was said about him, about not being a playoff guy, he found a way. Either he learned from his experience or it was just not the right situation for him, maybe. But we all knew he had the talent. We all knew he was good enough to produce, and we're seeing it now. And he put the team on his back a couple of times during this playoff series and brought them, carried them to wins. So credit to Mitch Marner. I own him in fantasy, so hopefully he's more than a point per game next year. He can carry this over.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, look, Vegas is also suffering injuries of their own, right? So it's not just Colorado. Vegas is missing Mark Stone right now, which is a big piece for their top six. But Mitch Marner in Vegas and Mitch Marner in Toronto is two different Mitch Marners from what we've seen. Um, but the guy is all world. The guy has so much talent. Um, and imagine trying to replace one Mitch Marner productivity with a bunch of $5 million players during the season, right? It's not. You just can't. This kind of talent you cannot replicate by adding like three other smaller pieces. And unfortunately, I guess Toronto maybe I don't know if they didn't appreciate it as much, but sometimes it's easier to miss something that's gone after you've lost it, and you don't see how important it is while it's there. So
You don't know what you got until it's gone, and that's what's happening with Toronto right now. Speaking about Minnesota Wild, I mean, it came out this week that they made a run for Robert Thomas, giving they were willing to give up Yurov and Wallstad for Robert Thomas, and St. Louis said no. They got Quinn Hughes. Does what they paid for Quinn Hughes validate them getting eliminated in the second round? And do you think that they can re-sign Quinn Hughes because they proved that they are a contender? Nick?
if they re-sign him, I think that validates it very much. So um, what's unfortunate is I don't think they will be able to re-sign him. Not because of cap concerns or anything like that. It's just I don't know if Quinn Hughes is necessarily sold on staying in Minnesota long term. And if that's the case, then it was a lot to pay for a one run in the playoffs. But if he does stay, it fully validates the cost that they paid.
Joe?
Yeah, we can't forget that he still has another season under contract. So he's still getting another full season in Minnesota unless they trade him away. But he said he's expressed interest in signing a contract extension with the team. He said that at the goodbye meetings or whatever they call it. Exit meetings and interviews with the media. I think, like Nick said, cap wise, they can figure it out. I'm sure. I don't think it would be a long term contract. I think it's probably a medium term contract. Look, anytime you get a Quinn Hughes, personally, I think it's worth it. They gave up a lot. Yes, they made a run. They lost to a beast of a team that's dominated the league since day one this year, and so there's no shame in that. But they have some work to do on the roster. The roster is not complete. Like with or without Quinn Hughes, you got some holes in your lineup that you need to fix. And Eriksson Ek is good, but the rest of your center depth is pretty weak. So if they can find a way to address that, they tried to do it with Robert Thomas. If they can address that, then I think they took a step forward.
Yeah, I think the only way they address that is one of their goalies has to go, right? So we'll see. We'll see in the off season or during the draft to see if anything happens with the Minnesota Wild.
They've got like 9 pending UFAs, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be tough for them. That $70 million is gonna play a huge role for that team in the upcoming years. So we'll see how they get around that. The Anaheim Ducks. I mean, we can say they gave it all they had. Against the Golden Knights, who were a much more veteran team, experienced team. We can easily say that the Anaheim Ducks are out of a rebuild and are ready to take their run at the Western Conference. With a good blend of veterans and young players that they have, what's the key for Anaheim here, Nick? I know they've spoken to Trouba already to see if they if they could re-sign him, but nothing's happened. So, what do you think they need to do for next year?
Well, I mean, they're a good young team, very similar to the Montreal Canadiens. I think the rebuilds are both done, and they're opening their windows now for playoff runs that are going to be constant and maybe even cup contenders in a few years. So I like Anaheim. I love the way they've built. I still think they're missing a couple of things. Like John Carlson's going to be gone this year. He's on an expiring deal. They're going to have to replace that kind of defense, offensive defenseman in the back end. Lacombe has actually shown better so far in these players than John Carlson has. But a nice secondary guy could help their defense out. Gudis has been what, healthy scratched?
No, he's been injured.
He's injured. He's
He
almost
was
ready
injured,
to
yeah.
come back.
He was about to ready to come back if they were going in their game. They have Minchikov and Zellweger, who are both young defensemen who a bit stalled. It was Zellweger less, but more Minchikov stalled out this year. So yeah,
They have good players. I'm not saying. I just think that one more piece could really help them solidify that back end a little bit more.
Well, yeah, to Nick's point, Truba, Carlson, Gudas are all pending UFAs. Moore, Minchukov, Zellweger are all pending RFAs. The only two guys under contract after this year are Drew Hellison and Jackson Lacombe.
Yeah.
So
On
they're
the back
going to
end.
have decisions to make, and the free agent class is not great. It's really not great this year, especially on these. So I'd be curious to see what happens here, if there's any trades or if they just continue the development path with their young D.
not sure
They
how
have a
TS.
couple of other young guys too coming up, right? Like Luneau's coming up, and there was a couple of other prospects that they have. But then it would be too many young guys. Like I feel like
Right.
they need some veteran
Oh,
presence
they got
there.
Solberg too. Steven
Yeah.
Solberg. He's more of a Noah Warren, played a couple of games, I think, already.
Not
So-
They have a lot of young D, but
I'm not sure how TSN is going to keep us entertained on July 1st on free agency frenzy over there. Not big names in free agency this year. Finally, let's end the odd man rush with two young players who are in the draft class this year. Viggo Bjorck and Ivar Stenberg are looking good in the World Championships. Can McKenna's decision not go put at risk him being drafted first overall? Junior?
I think to a certain extent, yes, because I mean, I look at my timeline on X and all I see is Bjork, Stenberg, Bjork, Stenberg, Bjork, Stenberg. That's all people are talking about. I'm not hearing McKenna. And these guys, their stock is rising if it wasn't already at its top. And this kid, Bjork, that a lot of people just assume because he was so small wouldn't be good enough to be in the NHL, is showing how good he is despite his size. And he played in Sweden against men. Some people didn't think that was good enough. Now he's playing against NHLers here at the World Championships. Played against Team Canada and stood out amongst others.
this
To the point
guy's
where
creating his own narrative.
to the point where Crosby even spoke about him.
Well, Crosby spoke about him because Viggo Bjorck says that he wants to model his game against Crosby, and that Crosby was the guy he was looking at.
I get it,
when
but
he was
if the player's not great, he won't elaborate for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? He could just keep it simple and say he's a good player, he has a good work ethic, blah blah blah, and that's it.
Crosby's always been there for his fans, but that's not the point, Junior. I think you're creating a narrative. We never
Guys,
said
Bjork is top
we
5 in
never
a lot of
said-
people's rankings, man.
we never said that he's not going to be a good player. What we said is that there's more risk with him because of his size. So just to like clarify, he has the talent, but if he doesn't hit, because not all prospects hit, regardless if they have talent or not, right? We know this. That's why it's not an exact science being a scout. You can't just say, okay, this guy's uber talented, he's gonna make it. It doesn't work that way. You have to put a lot of different aspects to it. There's more risk if he doesn't hit because he's 5'9". Because if you're 6'2" or 6'3" and you don't necessarily hit as a superstar, you're still a second liner.
Maybe.
Probably because you're 6'3". You still have an NHL job because you're 6'3", and you still have some talent there. But if you do hit, then you become a first liner or a superstar or whatever you want to call it. So Viggo Bjorck could become a superstar. He could hit. He could become that great player, like a Caulfield scoring 50 goals or whatever. He has the talent. But if he doesn't hit, if it's a miss, because there's a risk with all of these players, If it's a miss, he becomes a fourth liner. He doesn't become a top 6 player because there's only so many of these 5'9" players that you could have on a team. And that's not because of me I'm saying it, because that's how NHL coaches coach. That's how the NHL works.
And that's why the Lane Hudsons of the world and the Stankovens and all these players, they drop, and then teams regret it.
And you're
but
talking
let me
about
tell you
5
something.
guys. You're talking about 5 guys out of 100 guys that were 5'9".
Caulfield went from being a superstar to 13th in the draft. 13th in the draft. No, I'm not cherry picking because there's characteristics.
Go look at the amount of guys that are 5'9".
The game has changed, Nick. Don't look at the last 20 years. Look at the last 10 years.
The last 5.
The last 5, the guys are not even all in the NHL yet. They haven't even made their mark, some of them yet.
Junior,
what I'm telling you is that
there's a team of 5'9" players.
Fine, you don't want to take the risk. When there's a small guy and you're scouting, fine, he's small. What does it take to be in the NHL? Does he have the compete level? Is he a hockey nerd? Is he going to be at the rink, first one in, first one out? These are all the characteristics that a small guy needs in order to succeed in the league. And Viggo Bjorck is exactly that. What do you think makes Hudson so good? Is that he specializes in his craft. All he does is talk and care about hockey. So if a young guy and a small guy like Viggo Bjorck has those characteristics, yeah, freaking right, I'm going to take the risk because he's got all the talent in the world. More so maybe than McKenna and Stenberg. So... And you know what? He plays a freaking 200-foot game. So you want to talk about fourth line? What about the penalty kill? What about being on the ice when you're down a goal and you need to you're up a goal and you need to defend? There's more to it than just being 6'4". If you could be 6'4" for all I care, then what does Texier do? He's 6 foot.
It plays
Doc,
role.
third overall, Doc.
It plays.
He's a third
role.
liner.
You're talking like a little schoolboy fan. It plays a role. Everything plays a role.
Nick, I'm just saying there's other characteristics to look at of just...
Yes, of course. Nobody said that's the only characteristic, Junior. We said that this is a big part of it, and it is. That's the end of the story. It's not an argument.
But it's not the be-all, end-all. You're making it seem like you don't have to draft this guy top 10 because he's 5'9".
Listen, if you have a job, okay, and you have to get paid to feed your family. Okay, you're going to not take the higher risk. You're going to take the lower risk because your job as a scout, as a GM, is to make sure that you have a job tomorrow. Your job is to make the best decision for your team, for your family, for your organization, for everything. You're telling me that even though there's a little bit higher risk with this kid who has elite talent, but so do these other 5 guys, I'm still going to take this little kid over these other 5 guys that have the same talent. Why? Why? Why?
Because of everything else you know about the player.
There's other players.
And how many defensemen are going to go in the top 10? How many defensemen are going to go in the top 10 that are going to end up being 5th and 6th defensemen in the league? Because we've seen it a million times over. A million times over. You think all these defensemen that are ranked in the top 10 are going to be 4, 5, 6 defensemen? Yes, there's a good chance half of them are. And they won't all be top 3 defensemen.
This is where I could tell that you're not understanding. The guy that's 5'9", that's a defenseman, who if he doesn't hit, it doesn't become a 5 or 6 defenseman.
He's gonna hit. We know he's gonna hit. That's the point I'm trying to make.
You don't know. Oh my God! You have never drafted in your life.
If you go be a GM and you see everything about this kid and you know everything about him and the skill he has and the impact he has on the ice, and you're scared to draft him because he's 5'9", no, you're a pansy, man. You're scared. You're scared because if you hit on that guy, they're gonna build a statue around in front of the arena for you.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will. That's how good this guy is, guys. I'm telling you.
No, I think
there's some players you don't do it with, but there's some players that have if they have all the assets and all the characteristics, and you know everything about them, and they're that important on the ice and that good on the ice. If you're scared to take them, that's on you. It's not on.
If you have 5 guys that have the same talent outlook, you're not going to take the 5'9" one. If they're all the same talented, you're not going to take the 5'9" one.
So let's take Caleb Malhotra, who's going to be a second or maybe third line center.
But Junior, you took too many the guys you named are guys that are too easy to name because they made a name for themselves.
He's cherry picking.
Vince, I don't have the list, but these are the guys that come to my mind.
So do the homework.
Like I can tell you,
how many times do defensemen go before Makar and Heiskanen? And how many of them went before and they ended up being shit?
Junior, Lane Hudson got drafted from Montreal 62nd overall. Montreal had 2 picks before him. They picked Philip Mazar before Hudson. They picked you can't say that it's these young guys fall, and it is what it is. In 2020, if you look at the 2020 draft, Holtz went 7th overall. Marco Rossi went 9th overall. Cole Perfetti went 10th. All these guys are small players that are not going to pan out in the NHL. Holtz already is not panning out. Rossi plays for Vancouver, will make it maybe to the second round, a good second line centerman. Cole Perfetti seems like he's failing in Winnipeg. You
never know. You never know. There's no guarantee.
But none of them had this kind of hype. I didn't feel about them the way I feel about this guy because of what I see and what I hear and what I know about him.
Guys, Elite Prospects came out and said that there's a good possibility he turns into a Marco Rossi.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, but
okay. And then there's some people, there's some credible sources that come out and say they have him second on their list.
Yeah, Dauber.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who says what. At the end of the day, everyone has their own opinion, and you take a chance based off what you know.
It's not
as long as it serves your narrative. I get it.
No,
okay,
but it's not.
What you're saying is serving your narrative. So what's the difference?
I'm telling you what's the NHL, dude. I'm telling you what the NHL is.
You guys said Hudson fell to 20. They picked 2 guys before picking Hudson because they know why. Why am I going to pick Hudson in the first round when I know everyone has him in the 3rd or 4th or 5th on their rankings?
Because the risk is higher.
The risk is higher.
The risk is higher. That's why you pick him in the 3rd round or 2nd round.
If Lane Hudson doesn't pan out, we're all like, okay, he was a 2nd round pick, 62nd overall.
Correct.
Doesn't matter. But because he panned out and
top 5, you got to make sure this guy pans out.
It's like Zetterberg, who was picked in the 7th round and became a Hall of Famer. There is talent with Bjork. No one's saying there's no talent with Bjork. This is almost the same storyline as Adam Bednack that Minnesota drafted 2nd because he was 5'9" in the 2nd round. Except Bjork, the thing with Bjork is that the talent is higher end than Bednack is. It's there. It's just the NHL is a big boy game, whether we like it or not. It's a big boy game. Players at 5'9" or under have a hard time surviving. So is a team now gonna risk a top 10 pick on him because of what people are saying, or is it just, listen, if he falls to us after 19, I'll take him. If he falls after us at 15, we'll take him. But I don't think anybody will take Bjork top 5. Okay, the defensemen that are in this class is riddled with defensemen that have a high potential. So I don't think the Bjork is gonna overtake Chase Reed or Carls or someone like that. I like him too. I like Viggo Bjork too. I think he if he can pan out in the NHL, and I think
he's gonna make it.
And it also depends what team he falls to, right?
But the argument was not about Viggo Bjork. The argument was about this 5'9" thing that Junior has in his head.
No, my argument's about Viggo Bjork, so you're off. You're making a different argument.
You've talked about this 5'9" thing in last draft. You've talked about it at the draft before that. It's been a constant theme for you. So the list of 5'9" players that were playing in the NHL 2 years ago in the top 6. Okay, Brad Marchand, Jonathan Marchessault, Cole Caulfield, Johnny Gaudreau at the time, rest in peace, Logan Stankoven, Alex DeBrincat. That's it. That was 2 years ago. There was 6 NHLers that were 5'9".
You're right. So he's stagnant.
6 NHL. He's 32 teams, okay. Junior. 32 teams. There were 6 NHLers.
Do 5'10", 5'11", because this guy's stagnant. He doesn't grow anymore. At 18 years old, his bones, everything shuts down.
Yeah, now he's going to grow. All of a sudden, Vince is going to grow now.
Yeah. Now how many times do you see it?
We're not arguing about 5'9" now. We're talking about he's going to grow, guys.
Because of your list, Nick. It's not about him. Because of your list. Your list is
making a
5'9". He's being drafted at 5'9".
You're telling me don't be scared of anybody that's 5'9" and drafting him in the top 5.
If he has all the character, no. You see, this is where you're wrong. That's not my point. My point is about Bjorck. If a guy's as good as Bjorck and has all the tools that Bjorck has, you don't have to be afraid to draft him because he's 5'9". It's not about picking guys that are 5'9" later in the first round. I don't give a shit. I'm talking about Bjorck. I'm talking about Bjorck.
There's higher risk.
Okay,
that's the end
for you, and
no,
for some
for the
for
NHL
others.
and for everybody that's
okay. So when he's drafted in the top 10 this year, we'll have a different conversation. So then, what's your point? That's what I'm saying. What's your point?
You're saying he's drafted number 2, you said, Junior. You said he's got 2.
I said there's people that have him up
he
at number 2.
doesn't even know what he's arguing anymore.
Yeah, but we all agree that we all have Bjorck going top 10. We don't have Bjorck not going top 10, but it seems like you have him going in the top 5, which I
would take him in the top 5. Yes, absolutely.
Well, on that point, that is the odd man rush, and if you do think Viggo Bjorck is going to be drafted in top 10, I'm pretty sure DraftKings has some odds on that. So, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. When the ice gets coldest, the best player in the world show you exactly who they are. Playoff warrior? Turn it up round by round, and DraftKings turns it up with them from the first round all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Bet player props, bet live, from the opening faceoff to the final horn. Every moment matters. New DraftKings customer? Bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly. A partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer.
All right, Junior. Time to talk about the, what is it? Battle Royale update.
Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend.
Yes, the Battle Royale playoff pool, which is brought to you by Patisserie Boulangerie Italia. All right, so first place as we stand here in the second round is yours truly with 54.2 points. We got Anthony Caparelli in second with 49.9. Russo in third with 49.2. The top 6 will make it to the third and final round of this playoff pool. And at the threshold there, listener Tino is at 46.8 points, with listener Umbi 2.4 points behind. Listener Umbi has, let's see how many. He's got Kirby Doc still left in the second round and Ryan McLeod. Unlikely he gets any points. But the good news, however, is that he only needs 2.4 points because Tino P has no players from both those teams left. So it's going to come down to basically listener Umbi or listener Tino P. Yeah, that's it. I have to say Darlene got 5 points, which is why that propelled me to first place. And Josh Anderson and Norris threw in an assist each. So this is where we stand, guys. Looks like I'm going to represent this podcast in the final round. And,
blah, 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 blah.
Last year was Nick. This year it's me. Maybe next year it'll be Vince. We'll see.
No, I doubt it. Vince is in rebuild mode. Junior, if to listeners, the draft will probably be on a Tuesday night after the Game 7
First
game.
game of conference finals is Wednesday, so Tuesday night will likely be
The draft.
the draft. Yeah.
And
the
do we already
order's
have draft order set, or
I mean,
you could still move a little bit?
it could still move a little bit. Anthony Caparelli has Bolduc, Demidov, Doan, and Tuck.
Gee, that's
So I've got Anderson, Dahlin, and Norris. So he can still catch up. He's 5 points behind, just under 5 points behind. So he could still move up. I mean, Russo and Caparelli are 0.7 points apart. So that could change as well. In the middle, it could change. It could change. So unfortunately, there's no draft order set other than Tino P will be picking last if he makes it.
Nice. All right. What do you guys? Where's the outro music? What's your sense over this game? Whoa, no, that's the intro music. What's your feeling about this game 7, boys?
I don't know what to think, man. I was optimistic going into Game 6.
Yeah.
A little bit pessimistic going into Game 7, but
Yeah, but do you find that after a loss, you're always pessimistic? After a win, you think you're taking it next game?
yeah, I feel better now than I did right after that game on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
last
you
night,
did.
that's for sure.
You were not. Your text messages were not going well.
Yeah, no, I was angry.
You were a bit off the rails, but
They've
because they
got
got
a game,
embarrassed,
guys.
I think.
Yeah,
It's because
exactly.
they got
They played a bad
embarrassed.
game.
yeah,
They played a
I
bad
think it's because they played the worst game of the playoffs. So it'll be interesting. So guys, tune into Game 7 tomorrow night.
That
Come-
second period was abysmal.
Yeah,
Abysmal.
come and discuss the Viggo Bjorck discussion we just had. Are you on Junior's side? Are you on Nick? I mean,
Well, we don't even know what the argument was
well,
anymore.
We're
apparently.
both
we
both
love the
like the player.
discussion. Yeah,
We both like the player.
I
Nick's
don't think-
argument was it wasn't about the player, and my
yes.
argument was it was all about the player.
so just listen to it and put in your pick. And you know what? Just to end the night, what do you call a goat who is famous? Who is a famous painter? Vincent van Gogh.
That's horrible.
I don't have anything to add.
No.
Have a good night,
That's
Pete.
horrible. Oh, Jesus.
Goat cheese?
Goat cheese? Best outro
we end-
music ever.
We end the show as we started it.
In the dungeon.